So today I bring you a deck list that has been doing quite uh, a bit of good results on the last few weeks. Um, so today I'm bringing you Rakdos Transmogrify. Uh, we don't, we are not playing like a lot of new cards from Duskmorn here, but I still think this deck is a really cool improvement to the combo finish that Rakdos had before. So this is basically Rakdos Midrange, which wants to trade 1 for 1 with your opponent and put some pressure, and then finish off with like putting a Trax into the battlefield and refilling your hand and taking the game away from there. Um, how does this deck accomplish that? So we have a pack of discard spells, 2 duress, 4 Thoughtseize. We have our traditional removal in 4 Fatal Push, 1 Bitter Triumph. There's also 1 Sheldred's Edict and 3 Torch the Tower. Um, there are 2 Volcanic Spite here, but if you can, you shouldn't be running this. I'm just running them instead of the other 2 Case of Touched Skeleton. But I think the case is a lot better. I just didn't have the wildcards to craft the last 2 cases, so I opted for 2 Volcanic Spite. Well, the card ain't bad, it does stuff, but it's a removal that can also put Atraxa that if you happen to draw Atraxa, you can put it on the bottom of your deck, which is a thing that you can do. Then we are playing Idetsu consumes all, 1 in the main board because it's a meta call. This basically deals with Rakdos prowess and other aggro decks of the format that are just very fast, like Convoke and other decks like that. Decks that play a lot of 1 drops. It also helps against Phoenix because it exiles all graveyards on the second step, even though it's very telegraphed. So you play this, they know you're going to exile your all graveyards, so they can play around it, but it still helps. Then for card value and draw engine, we are playing 4 Fables of the Mirror Breaker and 3 Reckoner Bank Buster. This is basically what allows you to keep drawing cards and finding the cards you need to win the game. Um, Then the deck puts pressure with the tokens from the Fable, tokens from Case of Such Skeleton, that then you can use this to tutor your Transmogrify or the card you need to win the game, whatever that card is. And we have 2 Obnixilis that we also use to sacrifice the tokens, and we use Obnixilis to put some more pressure on the opponent. Um, the deck runs to Atraxa and for Transmogrify, which is the name of the deck. So basically what you want to do is you want to have a token, Transmogrify the token, get Atraxa into the battlefield. Um, it's pretty straightforward. So now that you know this, let's look to the lands. For people that are playing Explorer, the only card that is not available on Arena that this deck is usually running is one Urborg. Card is really good, but since there is none on Arena, I just added another pathway to the deck list. So we are running 4 Blackleaf Cliffs, 4 Blightstep Pathway, 4 Blood Crypt, 4 Haunted Ridge, and then for utility lands we have 1 Sokensen, 2 Mutavaults, 3 Fountain Port. So you can transmogrify a Mutavault, you can use Fountain Port to create fish tokens. So there's additional ways to create tokens that you can then transmogrify into Atraxa. Sokensen also puts 2 tokens, so that's pretty self-explanatory. Um, Other thing I forgot to mention, but we are running Giganta as our companion, and Giganta is also a way that uh, basically you can hardcast Atraxa if you have Giganta in play, because Giganta taps for 5 colors, and you can use that to pay those symbols. You cannot use it for generic mana cost, but you can basically tap Giganta and pay only 3 mana for Atraxa, which is which actually happens quite often. So if you have Atraxa in hand, you can cast her using Giganta or treasure tokens from your goblins, or even from the fountain port. You can also create treasure tokens with fountain port. Now onto the sideboard. Uh, So on the sideboard we are running 2 additional duresses, mostly against control. Um, 2 additional Idetsuga consumes all, mostly against aggro matchups, but it's okay against Phoenix. You can bring it in. Then we have 2 Robrask Forge, basically against control, so you can have another threat and not rely just on transmogrifying into Atraxa. One extinction event, mostly for decks that run everything around the same mana cost. Like, for example, Monogreen Devotion, they run a lot of 1, 3, and 5 drops, so you wanna play that and say odd. Or against Angels, you can also say odd. All your creatures are pair except Atraxa. But if you have Atraxa, you're not gonna extinction event. Most likely, at least. Then we have one Abrade, which is artifact removal. Sometimes you wanna deal with pesky artifacts from the sideboard. Um, One that comes to mind is the Graph Digger's Cage that stops creatures from entering from the deck into the battlefield. So Graph Digger's Cage stops Transmogrify. Uh, we have one Dumping Sphere, which is a lot uh, useful against Phoenix and Lotus field decks. Then we have 2 Urzus and 2 Go-Blanks, mostly against graveyard decks, Phoenix and Greasefang mostly. That's it. That rounds up the deck tech for today. So the deck list is down below. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Comment below. Um, Especially, I want some input about the background music. It's a new thing that I've added to my videos, and I want to know if it's working. Like my last videos, I noticed that the volume was pretty high, but I think I've adjusted now. So I'll follow this video with a gameplay video. See you guys soon. Bye.